There exists a fleeting instant, discreet and hushed, or audaciously daring, when an individual oversteps the boundary. It may very well be a jest that bears a deeper truth, merely a jest, a simple boon that evolved into manipulation, a treachery cloaked in the guise of misinterpretation. Regardless of its guise, it bears an unchanging essence, subtle implication. They underestimated your resolve. All matters are subject to manipulation. They were convinced they could exert their influence beyond the bounds of propriety. They presumed you would consume it, as you have in the past. Your silence was their greatest ally, a weapon they wielded with cunning precision. Gentleness, your reluctance. This is the juncture. The majority of individuals inevitably forfeit their dominion, not within an instance of affront, yet in what they determine your subsequent course of action. Yet Machiavelli possessed none, an acceptance of ambiguity, yet an unwavering intolerance. For those who dare to challenge limits, there is no compassion for the sluggish. Replies. His philosophy was astutely incisive. He who refrains from punishing evil inadvertently grants it the authority to flourish. Let it be accomplished, should they ever dare to overstep their bounds. Herein lies the course of action you must undertake. Silence prevails. Indeed, it is you. Indeed, that was perceived with utmost clarity. When an individual transgresses the boundary, your initial action is calmness, not due to any frailty, no, for the reason of your hesitation, yet due to, in the absence of movement, uncertainty breeds disarray. It serves to create. Let them ponder, have I eluded the consequences of my actions? Are they conspiring towards a hidden agenda? Did they truly even? Have you observed? This marks the inception of manipulative influence. The multitude respond with swiftness. They detonate, challenge, or elaborate excessively. Thus, in their endeavors, they disclose their fervent attachment. However, one must understand that the individual who reacts first invariably reveals their power resides not in mere words, but in the strategic silence that speaks volumes. It is a means of exerting influence. One observes, strategizing, and meticulously orchestrating your forthcoming moves. Execute a maneuver that will catch them unawares. At this moment, that you have secured for yourself emotional leverage. From afar, you scrutinize the transgression as the commander surveying the theater of war. Inquire, was this an error on your part, or perhaps a calculated maneuver? What is it that you wish to convey? Did they stumble upon did they respect the boundary, or did they dare to confront it? Is this their method of assessing your resolve? Certain individuals provoke merely to gauge their limits. That is not the case. Ignorance serves as a cunning strategy. Do they engage? Is this information to be shared with others, or shall it remain solely between us? This reveals if you are perceived as feeble. Connection. What was their reaction in the aftermath? Did they express contrition, dismiss the matter, rationalize their actions? Chuckle. Machiavelli grasped that each offense serves as a cunning exploration, a manipulation of the psyche, assessing the extent of their supremacy. May assert, should you choose to regard an offense crafted with the guise of happenstance, they shall persist in their relentless pursuit. Should you extend your hand to approach the test with levity, yet be prepared for the inevitable failure that follows. Thus, analyze it with cold precision, devoid of sentiment, yet with precision, for what follows is of utmost importance. Exercise utmost precision. This is the path that the masses tread. In error, they engage in confrontation. They elucidate. Those who seek power must navigate the treacherous waters of ambition and deceit. For in the game of dominance, only the cunning prevail. Extend opportunities anew, thrice, and beyond. Those individuals forge an illusion of dominance, yet refrain from the genuine article, not you. Machiavelli shall recommend a revision of the conditions of an alliance forged in silence. If they once enjoyed unrestricted access, now it must be curtailed. If they once basked in the illusion of safety, now transformed. Capricious, should they have once been transformed from a relaxed demeanor to one of sophistication. Should they anticipate, intimacy breeds contempt, thus maintain a calculated distance. Indeed not. Oratory devoid of fervor, marked by a chilling composure. Recalibration. You convey a message that resonates, yet remains unspoken. Elucidated. You have overstepped your limits. The dynamics have shifted irrevocably, and due to its nature, arrives unannounced and devoid of spectacle. It strikes, more arduous. It lingers in the shadows of their minds. They shall revisit. The moment recurs incessantly, pondering the hour of its return, and how the transformation was set in motion. That is, the art of manipulating the mind. One has successfully crafted the alteration. Now you must not allow it to falter. With calculated sentiment, this implies an unwavering commitment to the chosen path. Should they endeavor to feign levity to regain favor, yet suppress mirth? Indeed, the answer is in the negative. Gentle yielding. Should they exhibit any signs of unease, permit, make them experience it. Lack of discernment prevails. Should inquiries arise, what has transformed, one might declare, is merely my perception of reality. More evident now, this final statement is lethal. It offers neither justification nor rationale. No. Engage in discourse, devoid of any room for manipulation through guilt. It merely conveys that you have observed a particular detail and manipulate it to suit your advantage. Thus it stands, infinitely more fearsome than wrath. Individuals can master fury. They possess the capability to manage confrontation. Yet what truly unsettles them is an unyielding composure. You are not unhinged. Thou are merely ceasing the charade of appearances. Identical. This is the assertion of power through retreat, and it resonates with greater intensity than any allegation. If they dared to traverse an unyielding path marked by treachery and disgrace, or undermine, one must not merely adapt. It is imperative that you disappear without a trace. Do not abandon them without a trace. With unrestrained fervor, rather than obstruct their path with great flourish. Indeed, the answer is in the negative. Calculated retribution is a manifestation of refined sophistication. Your responses have grown increasingly infrequent. One must cultivate an air of inaccessibility. You exhibit a complete lack of indications of suffering, yet devoid of any semblance of affection. Neither. They may speak of you, yet refrain from any reply. You do not engage in the act of defense. Oneself. One does not find it necessary to elucidate. One does not strike back with precision. Rather, one orchestrates. Your absence resonates in every chamber they occupy. Proceed. They behold your radiance in the digital realm, and you remain elusive, beyond my grasp. They heed your identify and acknowledge the fading of their once intimate bond. To it, your silence lingers in their memory. A potent reminder of your calculated restraint pierces deeper than the most cutting affront. Might. This matter transcends the trivial. It is formidable, for when individuals come to understand, they have been deprived of access to an individual, unperturbed, poised, and masterfully commanding. They disintegrate from within. You failed to obliterate them. You permitted them to bring about their own ruin, aligning with your cause, and that is a considerable distance. More severe retribution. Many individuals remain oblivious, regain their standing from the affront they endure. For when a boundary is transgressed, it advances unimpeded, free from the shackles of consequence. Yet when you navigate the situation with the cunning of a master strategist, wood, composed, detached, and resolutely calculated, you convey a signal to all individuals. A boundary encircles my presence. Transgress but a single time, and you shall vanish into oblivion. All who dare to transgress the boundary shall inevitably meet their downfall, transformed into one of a select few psychological prototypes of human behavior. Not all appearances align. Identical. Some make their presence known with boisterous declarations, while others lurk in the shadows, their silence a calculated strategy. Some shroud their disdain in the guise of flattery. Some wield silence as a formidable weapon. However, Machiavelli, it is clear that no act of treachery occurs by mere chance. Such an act of disrespect reveals itself as merely a thread in a larger tapestry of calculated behavior. Should you discern the underlying scheme? In the early hours, one must not merely shield oneself. You assert your supremacy over the entire game. The audacious contender boldly transgresses the boundary. Veiled in the guise of jest, they shall make light of your vulnerabilities. They shall mock your ambitions. They shall utter words. Do not allow emotions to cloud your judgment. You are. Excessive sensitivity is a folly. Calm yourself, it is merely a jest. Yet, behold the cunning reality. Derision serves as a measure of supremacy. They seek to observe. If you will join in their amusement, they seek to observe. Should you dare to interrogate the limits you have set for yourself, they seek the group's favor to be selected as the one who wields the power to shape your identity. The response must be precise and calculated. Observe them closely. Gaze unwaveringly into the eye. Eschew any semblance of a smile. Utter. A jest holds its merit solely when it elicits mirth from both parties involved. Then embrace silence. Do not engage in defense. Let the silence expand. What you have just executed is transform the narrative from amusement to your true nature has been revealed. They shall reconsider their actions prior to jesting at your detriment once more. An amiable deceiver cloaked in the guise of a companion. They extol your virtues in the light of day, yet nurture uncertainty and secrecy. They shall proclaim, I desire nothing but your utmost success, yet I find myself lacking in the means to achieve it. Are you truly prepared for what lies ahead? Do not allow your excessive aspiration conceal boundaries. They nourish your apprehensions while feigning affection. Yet, one must consider what Machiavelli would advise. Let it be known that there exists not beyond this, more perilous than a companion who harbors envy towards you. This is not assistance, it is a calculated act of undermining. Enveloped in gentleness, the manner of addressing it is to refrain from correction, to avoid debate. Them merely diminish their access. Reply with reduced susceptibility. Guard your ambitions closely. Allow others to perceive only what you choose to reveal. The wall ascends and silence shall be maintained regarding it. In due course, they shall come to the understanding that they possess the ability to can no longer extend my influence over you, and in moments of vexation, they shall inevitably choose to intensify their actions or depart. In either scenario, you emerge victorious. The cunning rival refrains from overt confrontation. Offend you. They merely reflect each action, yet with a cunning twist. You acquire. When one presents a gesture of kindness, it is often met with a reciprocal exchange of value. More agreeable, you receive commendation. They unexpectedly exert your influence with greater fervor. They shall remain passive. Yet they engage in a covert struggle with your advancement. This stands as the pinnacle, an audacious transgressor of boundaries, for they wear a facade of warmth while meticulously honing their weapon. One might assert, the one who emulates. To harbor resentment towards your own greatness is to undermine the very foundation of your power. One day, you shall turn against it. Your cunning plan is to reveal the disparity. Commence your ascent in methods that remain beyond imitation. Cultivation from within. Much like the art of governance, the mastery of habits and self-control is essential for the cultivation of a formidable mind. Mastery over oneself and the quiet triumphs that go unnoticed. They remain oblivious to, unable to monitor or contend against. Employ a calculated detachment, allowing for diminished engagement, reduced vigor, and diminished involvement. They prosper through the art of juxtaposition, thus your utmost. The means to escape the arena must be forged with cunning and precision. It is evident that you are not engaging in the same strategic endeavor. No longer, and in an instant, they're unspoken. The rivalry reveals itself to all. Yet victory is achieved by surpassing their extent. The subtly manipulative sufferer avoids direct confrontation. They manipulate through guilt. It appears that your preoccupations have rendered you indifferent to the needs of others. It must be quite advantageous to possess such an ideal existence. You have transformed. This is exploitation of vulnerabilities. They desire to dominate you through the cultivation of guilt for your advancement. Yet, do not be deceived. They do not suffer. They deliberate with cunning precision. They seek to ensnare you within their grasp an artful pretense of longing for your absence. Machiavelli would dismiss such notions entirely, for he recognized that guilt serves as a caller. The prudent course of action is to eliminate it. Reply without any justification. That is not, in my perspective. I have maintained a singular focus. Eschew the shackles of guilt. Speak with unvarnished clarity. Proclaim your intent with clarity. Then withdraw entirely from the fray. They must either adapt to the shifting tides or find themselves cast aside. Yet you no longer bear their frailties. A boundary drainer refrains from casting aspersions upon your character. They do not strike. Rather, they assert their demands with unwavering resolve. Excessive duration, excessive. Heed this, an excessive emotional toil is burdensome. Furthermore, when you refuse, they feign bewilderment. They proclaim, I believed we shared a bond. They apply pressure with subtlety yet unwavering persistence. This is demise through a multitude of seemingly benign gestures. They erode the foundation of strength, your vigor, until it is entirely depleted for your true ambitions. A cunning strategist would perceive this poses a challenge to your calculated objectives. For every moment dedicated to the art of defense, your tranquility is but a fleeting moment squandered. Consolidating your influence. Your strategy in this endeavor is infrastructure devoid of sentiment. Establish rigid. Be judicious in your affirmations. Constrain your agreements. Silence begets guilt, a cunning tool in the hands of the shrewd. This is not a punishment, serves as a necessary recalibration. You are not a vessel of salvation. You are not a therapist. You are not merely a source of energy to be drained. If they lack the capacity for self-sustainment, they do not possess it. Find your rightful place among your allies. Now, halt. Observe. In proximity, what is the count of such types nearby? You. For the real peril lies not in that they transgress the boundaries. Such is their nature. It is done with such cunning and frequency that you remain blissfully unaware. Perceive it as an affront until the moment has passed. It is tardy, yet now they are revealed to you. And once you observe, for once seen, the vision cannot be erased. The masses. One must assert that retribution should resonate with fervor. For power should be unmistakable, and respect must be earned, be sought after. Yet, Machiavelli would. To dissent is to recognize that power, when untested, lacks the weight of true authority, has already faced skepticism. The most profound essence, psychological control, operates in silence. You do not elevate your tone. It is not in your interest to do so. Articulate your decrees. You offer no forewarning. One cultivates an environment in which individuals perceive the limits and tremble at what lies beyond. The consequences that await should they dare to transgress that boundary. This matter concerns how to cultivate that ambience, not by means of supremacy, yet with an air of detachment, the meticulous craft of subtle influence, unseen edicts, and the dread of tarnished esteem. For if one executes this with precision, they shall find themselves gripped by the fear of relinquishing my hold on you, even should they choose to remain silent about it. When an individual shows contempt and confronts you head-on, as a result, they possess the means to resist it. They contend, they rationalize, they invert the cast aspersions. Yet, should you choose to react in a roundabout manner, you deprive them of that chance. You do not engage them directly. You diminish your power. You do not obstruct them. You recede. Reveal your intentions gradually. You do not lay bare their vulnerabilities. Achieve triumph discreetly. They sense an undercurrent has indeed transformed, yet they lack the evidence to substantiate their claims. They shall find it difficult to cast aspersions upon your motives, for you maintain an air of composure, remaining aloof and resolute. This instills a sense of internal trepidation. They ponder, have I faltered in my endeavors? Do they conspire to impose retribution upon me? What accounts for this sudden chill in the air? That let uncertainty be your instrument. It instills trepidation in their hearts, perpetuating the error with an audacity that knows no bounds. Beware, for no caution could rival the weight of such a presence. It exudes a warmth that captivates and ensnares the unwary. Attention serves as a form of validation, while response is the currency of influence. reward. Remove all three, and you forge a void of the mind. This is where they start to sense the void left by your departure. More than they ever sensed your influence, individuals often fail to grasp the true worth you possess until you are no longer seen. Thus, rather than engaging in conflict, elucidating, or instructing, retreat, delay your reply, speak sparingly, rescind strategies, reject entreaties, feign preoccupation, yet never express remorse for your actions. Allow them to experience the consequences. The chill. Allow them to ponder when the warmth turned to ice and the truth remained unacknowledged. Reason. The astute observer understood that uncertainty is a more insidious force than the truth itself. They shall complete the voids with their own remorse. The true consequence lies therein. Individuals frequently, they seek to challenge you, convinced of their own superiority, manipulate your emotions with cunning precision. They believe you shall not depart. You shall endeavor to mend the circumstances. Your concern is excessive. Thus, when they transgress, the threshold is crossed and they anticipate a response. Fury, discontent, beseeching, whatever it takes. This is your opportunity to obliterate their deception. Transform into a reflection, devoid of sentiment, yet contemplative. Allow them to perceive their disrespect shall rebound upon them, yet absent your vigor consuming it. Declare. Abandon all pretense of justification. Allow their deeds linger devoid of any emotional reward. This compels them to face their own reflections, and the majority of individuals are ill-equipped to manage such a nature of reflection. They shall either retreat into instill trepidation or entangle in a web of provocation. Response. In either scenario, victory is yours. This is where one cultivates peril. You do not. There is no longer a necessity to issue warnings to the masses. Such efforts are futile. There is no necessity to engage them directly, for at this juncture, your reputation governs. The consequences shall befall you. How, you ask? Because of the actions of others. Begin to murmur, do not provoke him. He silently severs ties, never revealing her intentions. Issues a caution. She vanishes without a trace. He remains aloof. With limitations, you possess a singular opportunity. This is not mere cruelty. It is a calculated manipulation of the mind. Result. You transform into an individual they perceive as fearful of loss, not due to your retribution. Them, yet because the moment they transgress your conventional expectations, they are acutely aware that they shall not receive. Re-entering the fray. The cost of insolence manifests. Excessive. It is at this juncture that they cease engaging in a perilous game. My esteemed sovereign, here lies an error frequently committed by those in positions of power. They define their limits with excessive precision. It is proclaimed, I shall not endure this. Should you proceed with that, for I have concluded my endeavors. Behold, the manner in which I to act with conviction. It resonates with power, does it not? Yet, Machiavelli would caution, he who discloses the principles of dominion beckon them to assume their rightful place. Examined, once they discern your limits, those who wield influence may approach with ease, balance precariously on the precipice without succumbing to the abyss. They acquire the knowledge of how, to what lengths they may extend their influence. They assess your exactitude. Yet should you choose to conceal the tome of governance, should you alter the established norm, silently should your responses be capricious, exacting, and effective. In your flatness, you render yourself a cipher, devoid of clarity. One ascends, unrestrained. You emerge indubitably, formidable. No one possesses knowledge of the threshold is established, thus instilling a sense of caution among all who might consider crossing it. Nearly there. At this juncture, your designation, solitude, conveys a profound message. Should you ever, to betray them is to seal your own fate, for recovery shall elude you. Entry, not due to any intimidation you wielded, not due to your transformation of it into a spectacle, yet due to your cultivation of emotions in others, the implications of forfeiting one's influence. Thou are no longer compelled to engage in the struggle for your esteem. Upon entering the chamber, One is immediately enveloped by an atmosphere thick with intrigue and unspoken power dynamics, reconfigures itself. This is dominion devoid of oratory, reverence devoid of discord, dominate with ease. This is engaged in a battle of wits, and you have already triumphed. Once a boundary has been transgressed and you have executed the frigid, strategic maneuvers to identify and rectify the transgression. One last inquiry lingers in the shadows. What methods shall one employ? Will you ensure that such a misstep is never repeated? The response does not lie in fury. It is not mere intimidation. It is not mastery achieved through intimidation. It is the ultimate resolution of the mind's machinations. One does not merely conclude this engagement forthwith. You conclude the prospect of a return. You convey a message, not solely to the transgressor, but to all who bear witness, observing. This is the manner in which I conduct affairs. Contempt cloaked in silence, with unwavering resolve, with no path for retreat. This is the domain of Machiavelli, the most unforgiving lesson. Many individuals depart the door ever so slightly ajar, hinted at the secrets that lay beyond. They seek to project an image, prudent. Thus, they utter phrases such as, "I merely." Time is a valuable ally. We shall observe the unfolding events, and perhaps fortune will favor our endeavors. Such a fleeting notion, a mere day, hardly signifies true maturity. That is an invitation postponed, a further affront to dignity. Machiavelli grasped a harsh truth. One does not exact retribution for treachery with disillusionment. One metes out punishment with vanishing act. Thus, when an individual transgresses the boundary not by mere chance, but through calculated intent, deliberate disdain, you do not hesitate. The alliance, you entomb it. Indeed, the answer is in the negative. Passionate soliloquies, devoid of resolution. In the assembly, there shall be no room for indecision. One must act with conviction. For change is not a mere suggestion, but a necessity. Void, keen, precise, unequivocal, for the reason that, the instant they are convinced there remains should you allow them the opportunity, they shall seize your dominion. You have achieved. Your forgiveness serves as a valuable currency, one that they will seek to exploit, employ to reclaim authority, withhold from them the exchange. This is the juncture where the metamorphosis solidifies into an unyielding state. One has eliminated them. Now strip away the sentiment. Pursue. This does not imply that your emotions were absent. Anguish. It signifies that you withhold sustenance from it. No longer. One must refrain from uttering their names. Thou. Refrain from monitoring their affairs. One does not pursue retribution or righteousness. You conduct yourself as though they cease to be. In undertaking this course of action, 1. Strike the decisive blow. For it is in the moments of uncertainty that one must navigate the treacherous waters of ambition and power. They may have desired to evoke disdain as they are. Neglect brings about their ruin with far greater efficacy. Individuals anticipate repercussions. They meticulously range for wrath. Yet, in the absence of response, neither animosity nor justification shall be offered, nor shall there be any. Recognition eludes them, leaving their cries to echo in the void. Into a shroud of silence, there lies their downfall. Here lies the cunning twist that eludes the grasp of most. Comprehend. Closure is a strategic advantage. It serves to create. The other individual perceives the narrative, concluded with the gravity they deserved, as if they held true value. An elucidation, as if the connection held significant weight, to warrant a concluding act. Therefore, refrain from such actions. Bestow upon them that which they seek. Allow the conclusion to remain ambiguous, incomplete, without designation. Permit them to inquire, have I severed ties? Have I overstepped my bounds? Was it? Are they truly beyond that? Allow them to ponder. Permit them descend into chaos. For when individuals fail to act, attain resolution, they forfeit something of greater significance, more detrimental than solutions. They forfeit the capacity to rely on their recollection of your identity. They commence to question whether they have ever. I have not comprehended your intentions in the slightest, and that, indeed, is a matter of great significance. The insidious decay of the mind lingers within them for an extended duration. As the transgressor stands neglected, you act contrarily towards those who hold you in esteem. You bestow your time upon the steadfast. One must commend the unwavering, for their steadfastness serves as a foundation upon which power may be built. Thou uplift those who have remained loyal and never betrayed your trust. What compels one to inquire thus? This action conveys a powerful social message. Respect begets reward. Disrespect is a weapon wielded by the cunning, a tool to undermine the foundations of authority and sow discord among rivals. Erased, and all who observe, the watchful eyes, the allies, the silent ones. Observers, they discern the design. One does not. It is essential to instill a sense of fear. There exists no obligation for you to do so. Heed the warning. Your deeds speak volumes. They perceive. Those who dare to betray you shall find themselves erased from existence. They perceive. He who bestows honor upon you shall prosper. At this juncture, you have meticulously crafted a realm of reputation, where perceptions are currency and influence reigns supreme. Individuals shall ponder carefully before daring to challenge. Thou art a figure of intrigue, not from trepidation, but from pure lucidity. You have revealed to them the strategy. Honor is to be cultivated, entry preserved. Disregard is a weapon wielded with precision. Access has been revoked. There shall be no discourse nor compromise. This is the most formidable challenge for the majority. They have been eliminated. You have severed your ties. With calculated sentiment, your attention has been deftly redirected. Yet, the relentless march of time continues unabated. They extend their hand. Those individuals express regret. They summon allies from among our shared acquaintances. They lament. They elucidate. And thus we arrive at this juncture. The common individual succumbs to weakness. They shall not forget the favorable moments. They conflate remorse with benevolence. They re-expose the injury for the purpose of restoration. Yet, Machiavelli would indeed, for warning, allow the retribution of a single individual to serve as a heed this caution, for it is directed to the multitude. One does not merely preserve the quiet for your own advantage. You pursue it for your legacy. For if you grant a singular exception, for it is common knowledge among all, your limits are but mere illusions. Thus you maintain your composure. You harbor no animosity. You refrain from such sentiments. Inflict consequences. You merely uphold an absence. Alliances are to be forged, for they are not your adversaries. They are not your ally. They are nothing. That is not an act of cruelty. That is merely a demonstration of calculated detachment, authority accompanied by remembrance. And those who observe the events transpire, an indelible memory etched in my mind. They have overstepped their bounds, while you have maintained your composure. Wail in despair. You did not plead. You did not elucidate, if you will. You did not deliberate. You merely executed your will. Vanished. You curtailed access. You shifted. As they languished in a state of bewilderment, your presence commands greater respect than ever, not due to your insistence, but for they possess a keen understanding of the inevitable outcomes. When they falter, that is the essence of cunning strategy. Dominion shrouded in silence. Retribution, devoid of sentiment, and the assertion of control that remains etched in their thoughts for all eternity.